Hi, this is Ryan Thomas Johnson of Carnosaur 2, and you are listening to The Final Gaze. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to The Final Gaze. My name is Harrison.
And as always, my name is Toby.
Welcome to the season finale of The Final Gaze.
Harrison, did you ever think we would get here?
Yes.
You did.
I did. I had hope. I had vision. Not even a pandemic could stop us.
True, because we used to record in person.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember way back when you used to come over and sit on the long table?
Yeah, the long ago.
Long ago, where we would record for like 18 hours straight. No, it was more like 12 hours.
Because we would record multiple episodes in one sitting.
Because we would record like 2 or 3 sometimes, and we would also cover the entire plot scene by scene. So
let's begin with a retrospective.
Should we reminisce?
The Final Gaze was born from the ashes of Talksome Horror. Mm-hmm. And in fact, we neglected to say our 1-year anniversary was Thanksgiving Day this year.
You know what's hilarious? It's not the anniversary we're counting, but Thanksgiving Day was the day that I asked Brian, who has been on the podcast,
yes, if
he wanted to be my boyfriend.
Oh my God.
And he said yes, y'all.
Oh,
And we're still here.
Yeah, The Final Gaze and Brian are so tied together. It is just basically, it's beautiful.
Yes, written in stone.
Because, when Talksome Horror ended, I was low-key sad. But on the very day that it ended, The Final Gaze was born. And I had a lot of hopes and dreams for this podcast because, Talksome Horror ended right as we were getting out of that slump of covering all the Halloween movies.
Halloweens. And we had, I'm not ashamed to say, a hell of a lot more downloads and views during that period with Talksome Horror than we had. I mean, now we've caught up since then.
Yeah.
But it was more like all the work we did. Like, I feel like we put in some hard work. Sometimes we did record for like 13 hours. We would actually we would count like how many, like legitimately 13 hours, 3 episodes at a time. We would hang out. We would spend the night at our old co-host's house, which was always fun. Corey. We would hang out. Yeah. Stay over at Corey's house. Was fun. I do remember sleeping on his couch after watching Halloween 6, I think we did, and being all spooked out because I was all alone out there.
And it's crazy because I think it's funny to think back on, but the best moments of that podcast weren't recording.
It wasn't. It was me and you. I feel like some of my favorite moments was me and you going to sit out on that bench, out in the little park area they had outside of the Corey's house.
Oh my God! You literally took the words from my mouth. Those were the best moments.
And it's also, it used to be like a 40-minute drive for us to get there. So I just remember me and you in the car for 40 minutes just listening to scores.
Yeah, do you remember
you trying to quiz me and things? Yeah, trying to quiz me, which I failed multiple times. But it was just really good memories and a whole lot of fun of just hanging out. So,
I mean, it's unfortunate that Talksome Horror ended, but I don't usually use this word a lot, but I am truly and utterly blessed that we have found a second podcast to sort of talk about movies.
Yes, and I'm glad that our little bench conversations, because there were times where it was just me and you.
Yeah.
We'd go out for our little talks
underneath that arch.
Underneath the arch.
Yeah, in the park. I remember
that. It was those were great times, and I feel like sitting out on that bench, those talks bloomed and turned into the final gaze.
And right then and there, I think without even saying a word, we both knew that there was life after this unfortunate death.
Yeah, because we just had so much to say, and we knew from just talking to each other and hanging out and being friends that we had so much more to say than, ending it there and then.
Yeah. And yeah, it's been a fantastic year. Literally, I would say easily 13 months of recording episodes. This is our 52nd, 51st episode, one of those.
Yeah.
So, Toby, I gotta say, it's been a complete honor and privilege to share my love of movies, horror movies,
music,
film scores. Yes. And I gotta say, fuck coronavirus, because this would have been also an excellent year to me, you, Brian, to go to the movies.
Yes.
The first victim.
Freaky.
Yeah.
I wish I could have gone to the movies with you and saw Freaky, because I watched it here on demand with Brian, and we loved it. I really liked the movie. I thought it was great. But it's just like, it's one of those movies I wish we could have gone to Alamo Drafthouse, had a beer, sat there and just like soaked up how fucking fun that movie was. And it's unfortunately I had to watch it at home. We have a pretty big TV, but
but it's not
it does not compare to a theater screen. So,
and I watched that at a Dolby Cinema.
I'm so jealous.
Yeah, but that's the thing about how terrible times are now. Yeah. There's always the hope of things being better.
I mean, hopefully with the vaccine.
Yes.
The second I can get that, I'm taking it. And the second I get that vaccine, boom, movie night.
Movie night, it's going to be fantastic. And I personally, as much as I've grown accustomed to recording on Zoom, it's all right. But
I want to record in person.
Yes, there's a different energy when it's in person. So
I miss recording in person, and I agree. Yeah, it's just so much more kinetic energy.
Watching the movies together,
like it is a different experience than having to do it over Zoom.
Yeah. But anyways, I think it's pretty clear. Toby, thank you for the opportunity. Nay, the privilege of being able to share my passion and love for film, horror films in general. So
thank you. Me as well. Definitely these podcasts, as you know, sometimes life gets hard and it's hard to record and having to push stuff around or take breaks and stuff. Despite all of that, this podcast has definitely been a bright point in my life during this pandemic. So definitely grateful.
This podcast has been the anchor to sanity.
Yes, I agree. Being able to at least hang out with my friend who I can't see in person like we used to. We used to be able to go to the bars, Charlie's. Yeah. You remember like how much fucking fun we had? Like I would get so drunk.
Yes, You've seen me.
Yes, you've seen me fucking hammered before.
I've seen you hammered, screwed. It's crazy.
Literally all those things, listeners. He's not lying. I've
seen him
as much as you can see a human being. Harrison has seen. So,
I've seen him in many situations,
many of them, and I don't dispute one of them. But
coming soon, the Final Gaze OnlyFans.
We've been talking about it.
We've been promising that for a whole year.
But yes,
yeah, the moment we'll be able to just embarrassingly dance in a group of people that we know nothing about and have no appreciation for the music, that is the day I look forward to.
Will
because
be heaven.
Yes. So
I mean, I'm looking forward to. I mean, I think the best day for me, or what I want the most, is to be in the line together at a movie theater and buying our tickets.
Do you remember
and
that?
And then walking in and getting our fucking nachos and popcorn and shit, which I miss Harkins nachos so bad.
Yeah, me and like 6 other strangers in an IMAX theater for Monster Hunter was just downright embarrassing. I
still envy you that experience, and one day, hopefully, we will meet in front of a Harkins again.
Yep. And one day we'll also cover Quiet Place Part 2. So,
which I totally forgot about.
Yeah.
With Cillian Murphy.
Cillian Murphy and Jaimin Hounsou, right?
Yeah, why? But I guess we'll find out at some point.
We'll find out.
Spiral. That's my most anticipated so far. Black Widow, I'm really excited for because I love Black Widow as a character, but Spiral.
Dude, Spiral, Halloween Kills. Oh my god.
Halloween Kills, yes, but Spiral is supposed to still come out in March, I think.
I'm okay with that.
I need to see it.
I'm okay with
that. And
I
need another trailer. We only have had one trailer.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the one thing I've always hated was going to the movies nowadays and seeing trailers that end with coming March 2020. I'm like, you fucking liar.
You're a liar. Yes.
A liar and a cheat. But hey, I think it's pretty clear we have a deep respect for one another. And when the world comes back to normal, things are going to be even better for the final days. So
it will. And we have a lot of other personal projects together.
So many films. Yes.
So a lot to look forward to.
But most importantly, we got to thank you. And we know there's a select few out there who really listen to us. And we got to give a lot of love and a lot of thanks to you, the listener, for listening in on every episode for the past 13 months. It's been quite a ride. We've definitely evolved and developed, and in the early days, we used to cover the whole movie, and then we went from going to that to just talking about it, so it's been quite a wild ride, and we got to give a lot of special thanks and love to you, the listener, or listeners.
It's funny, even yesterday, someone said that they were watching Black Christmas, and I just commented offhand like, oh well, then you should listen to our review.
I saw that Brendan, right?
Yeah, and then they said that they would. David said so. It's just cool that he has said multiple times that he listens to the podcast. So thank you, all who listened. And that is really validating and just really cool.
And Corey, if you're out there, low-key, I miss you.
I miss you too. I do miss you, Corey. So we've already, we've extended an offer, but at any time, if you have some free time, you are always welcome to guest on the podcast.
I think it would be excellent for Black Christmas. I think it would be quite proper
for Halloween Kills.
Yes.
Can you imagine?
You have until October to decide, Corey. Come on.
I would absolutely love to review Halloween Kills with Corey. It just seems so right with, we've reviewed every Halloween movie with Corey. It would seem wrong not to review Halloween Kills with him.
Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends. You want to, buddy. Come on.
Just let us know.
Just let us know. We are ready and willing. But all right, thank you very much for listening to us. Let's jump into our season finale of The Final Gaze.
So crazy. Krampus 2015.
Krampus 5 years ago. Toby, when was the first time you watched Krampus?
Oh, I saw Krampus midnight showing, opening night when it first came out. I was a huge fan of Trick or Treat and Michael Dougherty, and so I was greatly anticipating this movie when it came out. So, I saw it opening night.
Okay, so where did you watch it?
Harkins Tempe Marketplace.
Cinecapri?
Cinecapri.
Motherfucker, we watched it at the same time.
I bet we were in the same theater. I think we definitely... Yeah.
Okay. So, to answer my own question, I too watched... Honestly, you know what? I don't remember if I watched it at midnight. I feel this was definitely a movie I would have definitely watched at midnight or 7 p.m. whenever those started.
I think I saw it at 7 p.m. on that Thursday.
Because I remember it being at midnight. I think I watched it at 7 p.m. It was definitely the Cine Capri.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember solidly it was the Cine Capri.
So here's a story that I wish to tell that'll clarify, well, depending on not if you're watching audience members or not. But the one vivid memory I have of watching Krampus was at the point when all the toys were coming out of their gifts, the gift boxes. There was this couple, a guy and a girl, who walked out of the theater and never came back.
Really? I don't remember that.
I just remember watching, like, I remember low-key thinking, wow, okay, this is kind of far-fetched. This is kind of crazy.
Over the top.
Beyond, like, not even scary. This is, like, downright hilarious. Like, Gremlins 2,
Gremlins,
batch,
yes.
hilarious. And then I just specifically remember watching down, because I was sitting in the middle looking down, and this couple, both of them, walking on. He's thinking, well, they're not going to the bathroom. Oh, my God. They're walking out. And then I was right. They never came back. So I was like, oh, my God, really? But I specifically remember that.
What a bunch of losers, because that's like when things start to get going and like become super awesome.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, well, maybe this isn't for everyone. And it's crazy because I have two very different thoughts on the film. One when I watched it and one when I rewatched it now. Because honestly, the first time I watched it all the way through was in the theater.
Mm-hmm. Excuse me. Me too.
And the second time I rewatched it was just recently for this episode. So it's crazy how things change.
I've seen it about 3-4 times. I think this was the 4th time that I'd seen it with Brian. We just rewatched it last week.
So, yeah, no, it's just crazy. Like, that people walk, like, I've witnessed people walk out of this movie.
Which I think is hilarious because I don't think this movie's any worse than Gremlins, right? I feel like it's in the exact same level of, like, the tone of the movie.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah. I mean,
but maybe they hate Gremlins.
Maybe they hate Gremlins. Maybe they didn't understand it. Perhaps it was misunderstood. But before we get into that, I think it's high time to do something we haven't done in quite some time.
Oh, yeah? And what's that, Harrison?
You know what time it is.
I do.
Cue the music. And now it's time for our favorite part of the podcast, Nerdy Film Score Talk. Nerdy Film Score Talk. Admittedly, a lot of these films we're talking about didn't deserve a Nerdy Film Score Talk, so therefore we reserve the best for last. In the final episode of The Final Gaze, we're going to hear to talk about the film score composed by, I think, our favorite Douglas Pipes, who, of course, we covered all of his films inadvertently. Well, all of his horror films. We've talked about Monster House and Trick or Treat in the same month. And today, we're going to conclude his trilogy of horror by talking about his score for Krampus.
All right. Well, the first one you have is Bells, Bones, and Chains.
Yes. Okay. So, admittedly, this is going to be more of a bitch fest.
Okay. You have some bad things to say?
Well, no, I have a lot of good things to say. However, I think it's a curse and a blessing to know film scores this much. Director Michael Dougherty in the edit definitely utilized a lot of very familiar, iconic scores for a temp score. And Bells, Bones, and Chains sounds like Those We Don't Speak Of from The Village. Do you agree or disagree?
I agree.
So the first thing we're going to play is Bells, Bones, and Chains, starting now. Okay, great. Very percussive. Obviously, there's a lot of bells, bones, and chains in that score. However, here is a track from The Village in the track Those We Don't Speak Of, playing now. It is incredibly obvious that Michael Dougherty used that score as a temp score and just told composer Douglas Pipes, just sound like that.
And I will say that the visage of Krampus, the kind of silhouette that he has, is very similar to the silhouette that the monsters have in the village.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's not that I'm against it. It's just that I know certain composers are definitely against scoring to a temp score.
I'd prefer not to as well.
I can definitely see how that works. But I mean, as a filmmaker who uses a multitude of temp scores for his projects, it's like, well, how else are you going to get your message across? It's better for the composer to hear what you want as opposed to trying to tell them. But also understand the composer's plight that, of course, I am my own creative
being an
person.
Artist and wanting to I get that too.
Yeah, which brings us to our next track, The Snow Beast.
I love this one.
Yeah, which is great. I would have loved it too had I not heard Roque Banos' score for Evil Dead, because this track, specifically, the Snow Beast theme sounds very much like the abominations rising from Evil Dead.
It does. And when you set that on here, I agreed. Like, I went back and listened to that track too, that soundtrack, and you're definitely right. There's a lot more similarities to be coincidence, I think.
Yeah, because, okay, so first of all, here is the track from Krampus, written by Douglas Pipes. So play it now. Okay, you got that really specific, like, horn theme, the horn motif, and now here is the track Abominations Rising, written by Roque Banos from Evil Dead. I get it.
Good. So good, though. I love that track.
I get it. You get the same, like, you get the same horns there, and you also got the choir happening here. And I get it. It's okay. I respect that. You made it your own as best as you could. However, to ears that know film scores, it is definitely a curse because we can hear that influence. And I'm not bashing you, Douglas. I'm definitely not.
I do want to say, you can edit this out. This is more like just me and you. Did you listen to the Monster Hunter soundtrack?
I did, and unfortunately, I didn't hear it.
Really? Okay, you have Waking Up from Oblivion and then the very first track to Monster Hunter. You didn't hear it?
No, in fact, when you told me that, I specifically pulled up the Oblivion score by M83 and listened to Waking Up. And I'm like, okay, I love that. And
maybe it's not Waking Up.
Maybe
I mean,
not.
it's that dun 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 dun.
I'm gonna be very honest with you, Toby. If it comes to anyone's score that I can't directly reference, it's gonna be both M83's and Paul Haslinger's.
Well, I'm so pissed because I swear to God, the score to Oblivion was used as a temp for Monster Hunter, because the very first track for Monster Hunter is like, when I first heard it, I pressed play, I was like, this can't be. Like, it's so similar that it, like, you should sue.
One rule that I follow is that I never listen to a full score before watching a movie. It's always got to be after.
And I do that a lot. I listen, if the score is available for a movie that I really want to see, I'll listen to it.
Yeah. In fact, that's the reason why I've never listened to Wonder Woman 1984, because I know it's available now, but I won't listen to it until after I've watched the movie.
I've only heard the Mascara, that one track that was available for a while.
Well, yeah. That came out like 3 months ago, so how could you not listen to it? You already know what scenes that's going to play to. It's like the Olympic Games with the Mascara.
And I'm so excited. I want to see that movie so bad.
Obviously, you're going to watch it at home, right?
I mean, if it's going to be VOD, right?
Yeah, right as the theatrical release comes.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'll watch it day one, probably VOD. Although I want to go see it in the theater so bad. This
is going to make you so sad and maybe very angry. But I'm watching it literally 2 times on Christmas Day. The first in IMAX at 11:30, and then 7 p.m. at Dolby Cinema with Richie and Danny.
Okay, I mean, yeah, whatever.
Hint.
At least I know you guys are cognizant and will be as careful as you can be.
Yeah, I don't order popcorn at AMC, mainly because the AMC popcorn sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I always keep my mask on, always. And I always bring hand sanitizer with me, so...
Listeners, just so you know, my last movie experience was The Grudge.
The fucking Grudge.
So that was my last movie. That's the last thing I was ever able to experience in The Grudge.
Hey, man, you know what's even worse? Had I actually paid attention to... Well, whatever, I'm about to say this. Okay, if I didn't go to a movie after the pandemic at all, the last movie experience I would have had was The Turning.
I never saw it, and
I don't want to.
I didn't know much about it either. I think that's why I didn't go see it.
Yeah, you know, oh my god. Oh, well, to you it could be different because technically the last movie experience I had was Tenet.
It's called The Turning. Was it about the turning of the shrew? Or
exactly.
Screw? Sorry, it's Screw,
yes.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because The Haunting of Bly Manor, which was this year's Netflix series,
which I still haven't seen.
Really good, but that was the story. Was the turning of the screw? It's what they're basing it out of. The first season is better in my opinion, but if you haven't seen it, I definitely would at least once watch through the Bly Manor. It is really good.
I will watch it one day. One day, yeah. But okay, I know we're drunk, so we got to go back to the topic at hand.
Yes.
So the third track I want to reference is Creatures Are Stirring. The one thing I love about this is I love the fucked up rendition of We Wish You a Merry Christmas, which we'll play for you right now. The one thing that I love about the score is that when this movie came out back in the day, I remember reading an article stating that it was like that the director, Michael Dougherty, was commenting on Douglas Pipe's score and stating that it was like a very fucked up, like dark version of familiar Christmas themes. And a lot of Christmas themes are intertwined in this score. And this is just one example of that, which is We Wish You a Merry Christmas.
What sucks is the score for this is really, really good, but because it uses actual Christmas song themes, it's like ineligible for any kind of award, like an Academy Award.
Oh, yeah, this will
Yeah.
never be nominated for an Academy Award, unfortunately.
No, but I do agree that the what's the word? Integration of original music and
Familiar themes.
what well-known holiday songs is like genius. And I do
Yeah.
this track is really good. It's not my favorite track. We'll get there. I do have a favorite, but
Yeah.
this one is really good.
So the next track I want to reference is called Elfin. And you know me. At least I think you know me at this point. I love percussion. So therefore, I love the percussive and choir-driven score for the elves, which will play for you right now. It fits the elves. You know, they're still little people playing the elves, but they're very menacing, and I like.
They
this
were really
integration.
scary.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they took the baby. I was so sad.
Oh my gosh, yeah. The fact that we didn't see the fate of the baby is probably a godsend.
Okay, that's it. I have a question for when we're done with score talk.
Okay, so in that case, we'll move on to the next theme, which is probably the Shadow of Saint Nicholas. This is the perfect track to showcase the power of Krampus.
The screen presence that he
yes,
has. It's very like epic when he arrives.
When he crawls down the fireplace, the fact, you know, those get those very strong brass sections, which will play for you right now. I felt bad for Omi, or whatever her name, Grandma.
I did too. I loved her.
Yeah.
But I read again, we'll have to get into it after score talk, but I did read some theories about her.
Yes. And finally, the final track that I want to reference, at least for me, is Cloven, which is very simple.
My favorite track.
Yeah, I'm always a sucker for a drum-driven cue.
So am I.
Which will play for you right now. It sounds so fitting, so
it gets me pumped, and it like, I don't know, it sets the atmosphere for the scene that's about to happen. But I don't know, I definitely love a good drum beat.
Yeah, which I think it's as opposed to the drum beat that I was referencing the earlier, like from the Village score. This is kind of its own separate thing. This is Douglas Pipes coming on to his own. So
yeah.
Which makes you wonder, did Douglas Pipes score to attempt score with Trick or Treat? Maybe. Because maybe. I know there was an instance where I wrote a note, I think it may have been Bells, Bones, and Chains, where I referenced that Douglas Pipes was trying to make a different sound of the score from X-Men 2, X-Men United. I think it was the build-up to the fight between Wolverine and Deathstroke, because it sounded very similar to that, but And it makes sense because Michael Dougherty, however, is very closely related to Bryan Singer.
Bryan Singer, that
no
piece of
matter,
shit.
yeah, no matter how much he hates or loves it, he definitely kind of
rode his coattails.
Yeah, definitely. So I don't know if that's a reference or not, but and it's funny because upon re-listening to it, all 28 tracks of the score, I realized, much as we realized before in the past few months that we've had in covering Douglas Pipes' other scores, is that this really isn't an entertaining listening on its own. It kind of had the same effect with Monster House, where there were some tracks that were all like, well, there's not much going on here. It needs the visuals to enjoy.
And because it's a Christmas movie, a holiday movie, a lot of it's, you're if you say you're in spring or summer, it's not, you're listening to this soundtrack where it utilizes a lot of Christmas themes, so it's not something I would immediately jump to go to listen to for inspiration or things like that, just because it is so specific to the holiday of Christmas.
Yeah. And it's funny because I've recently joined a Facebook group, that really loves and appreciates film scores. And apparently people who are that invested into film scores will only be the ones to realize that, oh, this Krampus score is referencing The Village. This Krampus score is referencing Evil Dead. I feel, again, that's that curse and the blessing that I spoke of earlier, because really, who the hell would know that? It'll either make or break the movie. It didn't really break it for me because I still enjoyed the Krampus movie, but when you really get into it, it's like, oh, Douglas, why? Dougie.
Yeah.
Come on. But who's to blame? Is it the composer for trying to fulfill the director's direction for whose probably direction was like, hey, sound like Evil Dead, sound like The Village? I don't think it is. So, Douglas, for what you made, I actually there's a lot to like about the Krampus score. And I think it's only referenced in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tracks in your 28-track release. So,
I mean, I like the main kind of theme that goes throughout the soundtrack. That's like the dun 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 dun.
Yeah, it's kind of like
the
yeah.
The kind of foreboding feeling you get from that track, I do think is really, really helps set the setting for, or the tone of the movie.
Yeah. So, I don't know. It's like I think ironically, I feel more the same way you felt about the Monster House score, the Trick or Treat score, with this score, because I was able to link other movies with it. And again, I understand it's a tough world, You come onto a project and suddenly your director has direct reference as to what you should emulate. And I know Danny Elfman hates that. I know Michael Giacchino hates that. So you worked with what you had. And I respect that, at least. So
yeah, I do too.
Yeah. But unfortunately, upon re-listening to it, there was a lot of scores I was all like, really? This was a whole track? Yeah. So, Douglas Pipes, you did what you could, and again, I loved your score for Monster House. I loved your score for Trick or Treat. Krampus, like the film, I don't think is your best outing. You did what you could. So, in that case, I mean, that's really all I have to say about the score. Really, it's not Douglas Pipes' best. So, what are your thoughts on the score?
I love the score. I agree with you that it's one of those scores that's kind of like Trick or Treat, where there's like very specific tracks that are interesting to listen to, but it doesn't work for me, at least, outside of the movie. Like the music fits with what's going on in the movie. But when you listen to it separately, it can be kind of boring.
Yeah.
But the tracks that you pick specifically are really entertaining.
I think they're the best.
Cloven's my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
I really, really like that track. But yeah, I think even though listening to it separately isn't as great, I think at least for the movie it fits perfectly. Like the music throughout really fits each scene that's happening. So I really like it. I think he did a really good job.
And I think it's pretty rare to say that he's like a fairly classical composer. You know, you get your composers nowadays who are very electronic driven, who probably have their scores composed by, you know, emulations. You know, this score was performed at least by the New Zealand Symphony, so you know there are practical performers to it.
Other than just being what's the word?
Emulated.
Electronic.
Yeah, electronic. Emulated. Yeah. So
also I'm drunk.
You know, it's not my favorite. Out of the 3 film scores that we've covered of him, my favorite is still Trick or Treat.
Okay, I do really love Trick or Treat.
Even though that's still directly referencing the Psycho theme, but
dun 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 dun. Yep.
Yeah.
Wah.
I'm just referencing the strings. I'm drunk too, so
yeah.
But hey, you know, Douglas Pipes, I love you. You're a very classic sounding composer. I really wish you were doing more. In fact, I don't know if you're doing more because I didn't check your IMDb. So, if you're still working, congratulations. If not, I wish you'd come back because you're like a combination of John Williams and John Powell. Anyhow, that concludes the nerdy film. Oh, wait, hold on. Did you say you have some tracks you want to reference? Did we directly reference some tracks you wanted to talk about?
No.
Okay.
I think we already talked about the ones I mean, Cloven was really the number one I did want to talk about, which we already did. No, I don't know. I'm drunk.
Yeah.
This was the point of this episode. We already told you guys way ahead of time.
We're inebriated. I definitely feel it.
And we deserve it.
I feel it in my face. I didn't feel nothing of that. So, in that case, let me drunkenly try to bring this conversation to the next logical point. Krampus, the movie. What did we think about it? Let's just jump into that, shall we? See what happens.
Yes. So, I initially saw this in theaters when it first came out, and I loved it. And it has been a favorite holiday-themed horror movie since then.
Yeah, definitely the same. I mean, inadvertently, as we always have in the past, we have watched this together without actually
I bet
knowing
we
it.
saw this in the same theater.
Yes, Cine Capri, 7 p.m. I remember watching it. This would be a movie I'd watch at 7 p.m. in the Cine Capri. So it was definitely Harkins, Tammy Marketplace. And you're saying you were there at the same time, too. You were there at Harkins, Tammy Marketplace?
I was at Harkins and Cine Capri.
Yep. So, again, we watched it together. Shocker. Here we go again. So, God, I mean, geez, where do we begin? Let's begin with the family.
How do you feel about the family?
Okay, so the family that is there. It is definitely textbook family. It is definitely like the red-nosed claymation, like, yeah. Well, at least
Did you
son.
Did you relate to the family at all? Because I at least I do remember being younger and having family members come over for Christmas or holiday times, and like it being really stressful for my parents at least.
Yeah, no, unfortunately. Well, I mean, I was probably blind to the stress. However, as far as family members coming together, no, we weren't ever that bad. It was always a jolly good time with laughs and literally hot cocoa. So I don't think I've ever been. I don't think at least my mom has never showed how much stress that poor Toni Collette has been through.
Oh, she's so good. I mean, I feel like Toni Collette is the most underrated actress. Like this and Hereditary and not getting some fucking Academy Award, like so good.
Yeah, not that she's been purposely trying to work towards an Academy Award.
Yeah, I don't think she's trying at all to get an award. I think she just appreciates her craft and, you know, puts her all in every role that she has. It.
Yeah.
At least to
maybe
me.
Maybe inadvertently she has been trying to vie for an Academy Award maybe ever since The Sixth Sense. You know?
Maybe. I mean, she had her whole TV series that was the United States of Terror, where apparently she played different roles each episode, but at least far as...
Yeah, isn't that the one with, admittedly, the very cute twink from It Follows?
The one who is in the Netflix series about him being autistic?
Yeah, Atypical.
Yes, Atypical. I think so. He's so
That's
cute.
the first series I ever recognized him from.
The first movie, I mean, The Sixth Sense was, I think, the first movie I really recognized her from. But
wait, she was... Oh, Toni Collette, not...
Toni Collette.
The
yeah,
straight
not that
twink.
kid. You get your mind out of the gutter, those twins. They're not worth it. They're not worth it.
The mind is all in the gutter right now.
Toni Collette did a movie about the tsunamis that happened in I think it was India. Do you remember like the movie The Impossible?
Yeah, Christmas Day. Yeah, she wasn't in that. Was Nicole Kidman?
No, that was Naomi Watts in The Impossible. But she did a movie based on the same story, which is like, but she played, obviously, it was a different character. She played a character who was there on the beach when the tsunami hit. And her, like, yeah, and it was her, like, ordeal surviving and going back to normal life and things like that.
It's funny that you say that because we recently had a friend screening of Peter Jackson's King Kong, and Richie and Danny were here, and Danny couldn't tell, is that Naomi Watts or Nicole Kidman?
That is so funny.
And I just made that accident of, well, that was Nicole Kidman, but no, it was Naomi Watts.
Yeah, that was Naomi Watts. I loved that King Kong.
Yeah.
2005 and the extended edition. I don't know if you've seen it.
Coming soon, our thoughts on King Kong.
I've seen it a couple of times. Really, I love that King Kong. Peter Jackson's King Kong. I think is my favorite of his movies.
I love the theatrical.
The extended edition, yeah, it does add some unnecessary stuff. But
like the soldiers.
The soldiers and like
that could be cut. But
it really could. I mean, and it was because it wasn't in the...
That's the point of the extended cut, but...
Yeah. I do love Peter Jackson's King Kong. It is one of my favorite monster movies.
Yeah, do you think that can count as a review? There's monsters in it.
Yeah, I think so. There's some really horrific moments.
Coming soon, then.
That's what's weird about horror is that it can encompass a lot. Like, you can be horrified at something in a drama. Right?
So wait a minute. Are you saying that we're going to be covering The Terminator?
You know what? I mean...
I don't know, man. After the fact,
I remember we had a conversation about what we would cover, and it was all things horror.
Yeah,
that was the words that you used, and so
that was all the words Corey used.
I don't know, when you have said we cover all things horror in our.
Well, hold on now a second. If we're gonna put words to me, it was all facets of horror.
Yes, you're right. All facets of horror. Well, there are horrific scenes in movies that are not horror movies. Yeah. And you did say all facets of horror. And you also mentioned that we might be doing things like true ghost stories and things like that.
You see, I wanted to do Terminator as a joke because of how it's not a horror film.
It's not a horror film.
But if you really think about it, if you want to
there
compare
are horrific
it to
moments. There are horrific moments.
Yeah.
In
well, I don't know.
Or the Terminator.
After the fact, it was like, well, there are a lot of similarities between the Terminator and Michael Myers. That's all I'll say. So, yes, as I take a sip of my alcohol.
I don't know even how we got to.
Yeah.
Terminator.
But I think
that Krampus,
that was the main divide of Talk Some More. So, but Krampus, I just think Toni Collette has been trying to prove herself right with horror since The Sixth Sense. And not that The Sixth Sense was a bad horror movie, because it was it's
a good one.
Yeah, it was like a nice blend of drama and horror. I just think Toni Collette is the more successful horror actress compared to maybe someone like Lily Taylor, who I think, as always,
been terrible.
I think since her part in The Haunting, she's been trying to prove herself a leading lady in horror with roles like in The Conjuring and the failed attempt in Texas Chainsaw. Which
have you seen? What was it called? She did. So there was a movie she did in the 90s that was like, Julia Roberts was in it too. The pizza something.
Mystic Pizza?
Mystic Pizza. That's where I first saw her in. And I feel like that's the kind of role that she should do. And for some reason, she segued into horror movies instead of rom-coms. And I think rom-coms is where, like, she should have segued into. After Mystic Pizza.
I think I've only ever associated Lily. Wait, are we talking about Lily Taylor?
Yeah. She was in Mystic Pizza with Julia Roberts.
Okay, but I haven't seen Mystic Pizza.
It's a very 80s rom-com type of movie.
I've heard of it enough to be like, oh, that. You said pizza in 80s. I'm like, Mystic Pizza.
Yeah, so that's where I first saw her, was Mystic Pizza.
Interesting.
But I agree with The Haunting that she's fucking terrible.
Yeah. I recently rewatched that. Admittedly, it's got a really awesome re-release from Paramount, and they remastered the hell out of that. In fact, it looks the best it's ever looked at on DVD
it's the
to Blu-ray.
Children. They're talking to me.
And I'm thinking, of course, back to The Hobbit or Monty Python. Why don't you think of the children?
Don't go into the fireplace, Owen Wilson.
Wow. Oh, that's another case. But Toni Collette
is amazing. And needs to win every award.
She won in this case, at least, because she is the perfect mother dealing with Christmas stress in the best way she can. And in fact, the fact that there was a scene added in where she definitely says, okay, bitch, back the fuck off. I'm doing the best.
Yeah, she said, stay the fuck out of my kitchen.
Yes. So, yeah. I mean,
and that's Conchita.
Yeah.
I forget her name.
I remember the first name.
She passed away this year.
Oh, really?
She did. She passed away. I just want to say her full name.
Oh, shit. Why don't I think her last name was Wilson?
Let me just double check.
Yes. Because, who she reminded me of, just because we're coming right off the review of Black Christmas. She reminds me of that, the house mother from Black Christmas.
Phyllis.
Yeah, except she's a bit more.
Phyllis was the actress. Yeah.
Yeah, except she's a bit more, real. She's a bit more.
So her name. So she's Conchita Ferrell.
Ferrell.
Yes, and I've seen her in a lot of movies.
Yeah.
She was in a lot of stuff before Krampus, but
Yeah, she was in Steel Magnolias. Was she?
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
she
was.
Yeah.
She was in a lot of stuff, and I think she was a really, really relatable and funny part of this family dynamic in Krampus, and I'm sorry to see her go. So
yeah,
rest in peace, Conchita.
Yes.
Thank you for this amazing character that you portrayed.
Because she was the one teaching all the kids probably the most valuable adult lesson: how to make what was it?
It was eggnog and
yes,
brandy or something.
Yes, there we go. Because we all know when we get to that age, all you need is liquor to get through you. All you need is liquor to get.
Oh, she said she was gonna teach them how to be merry. So how to be merry is, like us getting plastered. So I feel like we all know an Auntie Conchita.
Yes.
There's always an Auntie Conchita
there's always that auntie.
Wants to give you a little sippy sip of something you shouldn't have, maybe, or just funny.
Which I think arguably she was the most entertaining character, probably the most relatable.
And she took action when she got the shotgun and
I wish she had that
teddy bear
moment. Oh no, she did.
She did. She blew the teddy bear away at least.
Yeah, she shot that. She shot a lot of things.
And then she was like her last line, which is the best, which is I'll see you in hell.
I'll see you in hell. And then she gets yanked out of the living room with.
That's my last words too.
I'll see you in hell.
Either that or death is only the beginning. That'll be it.
What would be my last line? My last line would be,
Amun Ra, Amun Day.
My last line would probably be, the secret code to the safe is 25.
What a piece of shit. That would be the worst thing. Mine would be like, death is only the beginning.
Oh my god. Yeah,
something cryptic like that.
That'd be mine, because I have no safe with no combination, so they'd be forever be like, what the fuck did he mean?
What did he mean? Yes, that would be terrible.
Yeah. Maybe the password to my YouTube channel, which is probably the most valuable thing I have at the moment.
So, with Krampus, it's really similar to Gremlins, right? Where people kind of get picked off one by one.
Well,
whether they die or not, but there definitely are kind of slasher-like scenes where each character kind of has their moment of being attacked by something.
Yeah, I think it's similar in Gremlins to the fact that it's just as far-fetched and ridiculous as Gremlins, because there are some people who can appreciate movies like Gremlins, and there are people who cannot. Mm-hmm. Because, again, referencing that couple, the whitest of the white, the Karen and the Kevin of the theater, who could walk out and not realize how amazing this movie is, because they'll see the animatronic Christmas angel, they'll see the animatronic not jack-o'-lantern, what's that?
Jack in the Box.
Jack in the Box. They'll see the animatronic bear and think this is literally the most retarded thing they've ever seen. Yes. And then they'll walk out. And then there's people like us who will see, oh my god, this is the most brilliant Christmas horror movie ever made. So
yes.
I think this movie was catered to an exclusive audience who can understand how amazing this movie is.
I think it was catered to people who loved Trick or Treat. Honestly, yeah. I think Michael Dougherty knew exactly who his audience was, because I feel like Krampus is the segment in Trick or Treat that's just Sam and the old man.
Okay, I can see that.
I forget his name. I feel like Krampus is like that scene extended. Like the whole Krampus the movie feels like that entire scene between Sam and I think his name is Krug or something like that.
Krieg.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Krieg.
Mr. Krieg.
Yeah, so I feel like Krampus really is just an extended version
Brian Cox.
Of that scene between Sam and Brian Cox.
Yeah. And also, well, this film is definitely catered to someone. I'm not naming names. This film is definitely catered to someone who would put a Krampus background in a podcast review.
Really? And why would you say that?
Well, because there's a lot of specific things happening in the movie that has to rely on that specific person's history of either that director or that director's love for holidays.
I see.
Yeah, because I think you have to walk into Krampus thinking that this director has made Trick or Treat. So therefore, I think that you're right. This film has been catered to people who are fans of Trick or Treat.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's a lot you have to get over. There's not only do you have to get over creepy snowmen in the front yard, which could be quote unquote catered towards fans of Jack Frost. I'm not saying they are.
Yes.
Yeah. But you also have to accept the fact that Christmas toys are scary.
Yes.
Which they're not. I think they're fun scary. Like, there's a Christmas angel. How ironic, because the sisters
there's
in question...
fucking evil...
bonded
angel.
over the Christmas angel earlier. So therefore they're being attacked by an evil Christmas angel. And, there's a lot of things that a lot of audiences have to accept. And a lot of casual moviegoers probably wouldn't accept, which is why I witnessed literally 2 people walking out of this movie. This movie was not made for them.
No, it wasn't.
This movie was made for people like you and I.
It was. And because of that, I do have a question. We've talked a lot about all the horror elements and things like that are normal for us as the final gaze to talk about. But how do you feel about sort of just the emotional or non-horror aspects, which is like the family dynamics?
Okay.
Yeah, because I think Michael Dougherty does a really good job of presenting non-horror elements. The first 15 minutes is just family dynamics and how do people deal with the holidays and the stress of that and things like that.
Okay.
Do you feel like he was successful in kind of presenting that aspect of Christmas and what it does to families before the horror starts?
I really think that Michael Dougherty captured the stress of Christmas very well. Again, this made me rethink my whole life. As much happiness as I felt during the holidays, was my mother stressed the fuck out? Was she concerned about that one auntie coming over and dictating everything she did? I don't know. I'd have to ask her. So these are things that weren't really revealed to me as a kid, but as an adult, I should say there was a very big difference between watching this back then when it came out versus watching it now as a 30-something year old.
31, right?
Yeah, 31.
Because I'm 31.
We're both the same age. 5 years ago,
we're only a month apart.
Yeah. It's August to September. We're both the same age. We're old as fuck, considering.
So old.
So old. We are your elders, listeners. listen to us.
How sad is that? I'm your elder. Look at me.
We have the sage advice. Listen to us before it's too late. Realize that all of your happy Christmas memories were paired with the stress.
Is a lie.
Yes, is a lie.
It's all a lie.
Your parents were stressed because they didn't know what you loved and they didn't know what to buy you for Christmas.
They didn't know you wanted that soundtrack.
Yeah, they didn't know. Except for that one time where my cousin accidentally bought me the soundtrack for Alexander by Vangelis. That was the best Christmas ever.
And the one time that I was able to, my mom rented Alexander from the library and made me realize that I definitely was gay.
Oh!
Because she rented the unrated version, the unrated director's version. And I saw certain things that really told me
God,
who I was
as
a person.
Yeah, that wrestling scene. As a 15-year-old, I was all like,
yes.
What?
Jared Leto better stop.
Oh my, okay, Jared Leto, I guess.
And Colin Farrell.
That was his name, Connor something, right?
It's Colin Farrell.
Oh, Colin Farrell. They said Connor something.
It was good.
Yeah. Well, apparently we were attracted to the opposites of our age. I was attracted to the people of my age.
And I was attracted to
people
daddies
beyond your age.
Yes.
Well, there we go.
There we go. Now you know exactly everything about me.
So, but yeah, Krampus. Your parents were probably stressed during the holidays, and you were too young and naive to realize that they were stressed, and you were naive.
I was a child,
and yet you probably received the very gifts you wanted.
Probably.
Hey,
honestly,
right, Toby.
Honestly, I don't remember a Christmas that was disappointing.
Yeah, what was your favorite Christmas gift?
I will say the best gift as a child that I received, being like super excited that I got it, was the trailers from The Lost World Jurassic Park.
Oh, really? Like literally something your parents gave you, not literally, the world.
I don't know. They bought me. So there was a play set of the Jurassic Park 2, The Lost World. They had a play set that was the trailers from the movie.
Oh, wow.
So it was like legit, like the trailer cars, and you could open it up, and it had like a laboratory setting where you could like fix the dinosaurs if they were hurt or something like that. And it also came with an electrical fence that you would put around it. Electrical, obviously it wasn't, but like it was a whole play set. I swear to God, I got it, and you can look it up. It's the trailer from The Lost World Jurassic Park, and you can put people in the front to drive the trailer, and then it had like the second part that was it was a laboratory, and you can open it up and you can put a dinosaur in it, and that's what it was. I swear to God, this was a real thing.
I'll take your word for it. I mean...
Oh my God. Okay, you know what? Hold on one second.
I mean, my parents got me the Nintendo 64 with
maybe
Ocarina of Time. Yeah. I guess my mom was on the tribal council, so... I mean, it's not that I don't believe you.
Bougie?
Perhaps...
Is that what you're saying?
I guess you could say bougie. However, I guess you got the better gift.
Hold on one second.
Wait. Hold on. Did you get the T-Rex head that you could put your hand into and just be like...
Yes.
Okay.
I also had that.
I remember that because I remember I would take a knife or scissors and cut into the mouth, and it could eat my other toys. You know, I could just bring it in.
I did have one of those.
Yeah, it was a T-Rex from I would have to guess the Lost World era.
Okay, give me 1 second. Because I want to blow your mind.
Please do.
You're so irritating. Hold on.
Oh, am I? Am I?
Yes, you are. Hold on 1 second.
I am,
because I found it. I just had to.
I'm literally juggling this podcast episode with people who want to pay me for their photo shoots, and I'm all like, I can't do your photo shoots because I'm drunk and I'm talking about Krampus.
Krampus.
Well, that's the way the grandma said it, you know.
That
like,
is true.
German. Krampus. I drank about 2/3 of this Jack bottle with under an hour.
I'll have to refill on my wine.
Yeah, but that's wine.
I don't know. It's pretty strong. I'll be honest. I'm feeling it.
Okay, but like, this is 40% alcohol, and this is Jack.
That's true. But I will say that I am drunk. As far as I can tell.
Viewers, this is the season finale, season 2, or season 1. Season 1. So, what do you want to see or hear in season 2? Let us know. We're going to take a little break because I need to go to the bathroom.
All right. Well, this is the set that I received, so you know that it is a real thing.
What the fuck?
I got it. I got it for Christmas.
I mean, okay. All right. Okay, I got way more drunk than I needed to be.
How about we just go into our final thoughts, I think.
No. We need to talk about the movie. Okay. All right. I got an idea.
Okay. All
right. So, forgive us for the continuity. However, we're drunk. And this is exactly what we're offering you, a drunk episode. So, Toby, what did you think of that family? Oh my God, at least the visiting family.
I mean, at first, of course, you're supposed to feel like they're irritating or antagonistic. I mean, they're, to be honest, politically, like, obviously they would be parodies of Trumpers, right? Like alt-right, like that's kind of what they're going for. And at first they're very infuriating. Like you dislike them, at least for me, I disliked them immediately, but throughout the movie you kind of warm up to them, and they disclose some dialogue that kind of explains who they are a bit as far as the two sisters.
Yeah, they bond over their mother who has passed on. We'll give them that much. However, the character that is played by David Koechner, who seems to be specifically playing the character he's always casted in. Yeah. He's definitely a Trump supporter, definitely a very conservative, very alt-right almost. However, we can't blame them because they do provide the tools for our characters to survive.
True.
Yeah. They do fight to the end for what they believe in, which is that, oh my God, our kid has been kidnapped by elves. Who saw that coming?
Yeah, I mean, he even offers to go with Adam Scott, the father, to go look for their daughter, who I completely disagreed with, even watching it this time. Letting your daughter leave to go visit her boyfriend during like
a blizzard,
some insane freak blizzard. Yes.
Yeah.
No, would not have happened.
Yeah, definitely not. And also, I think this plays into the fact that it's definitely, at least for characters who have played a TV show character for so long, it's definitely hard to differentiate between the character that this actor is playing versus the actor he's playing in this movie. No matter how many times I see him in different movies, he will always be Ben Wyatt.
Adam Scott?
Yep.
Yes. He's so cute.
Yeah. I just have expected him to give us that, like, that actor from The Office, you know, to have him look into the camera like being, really? Really?
Yeah.
you know? But, it's pretty crazy because that character specifically comes onto his own. We fully expect the quote unquote Trump supporter slash conservative slash Republican slash pro gun owner to, be the person they actually say they're going to be. I'm going to protect my family. I'm going to retrieve my kidnapped family member. But he fails on all accounts.
Everyone fails. Even the grandma fails.
And unfortunately, we're going to reference Tenet here. Everyone imagines running into that burning building until they feel the heat of the fire.
Okay.
This person had all the tools he had imaginable to rescue his kidnapped son, but he still failed.
He did.
And admittedly, the Adam Scott character lasted longer than the Republican. So what's that tell you?
What's funny and kind of what sucks about the adult characters and them kind of finally, I don't know, overcoming their faults. Like the people who are, so the Republican dad, obviously the alt-right dad, everyone, no matter what their stance is in the beginning or how much they've tried to save everyone, gets taken.
Yeah.
Like, all the adults get taken at the end, no matter what they've done to try and overcome it, which I feel it really adds to the movie, like makes it a lot darker than you might think it is with a bunch of animated gingerbread people running around.
Yeah, and I think that's the darkest aspect of this movie. Of course you expected the Trump supporter to fail. That's just kind of a dead giveaway because obviously Trump supporters now are failing epically. No matter how hard they try to overturn this election, they have lost.
Yeah.
So the fact that even though they kind of fail at the end too, the opposite of a Trump supporter succeeds much further than a Trump supporter. It almost seems like the anti-gun supporters last longer than the gun supporters because they use it practically. It's no longer a question of, oh my God, the anti-fascists, quote unquote, are going to be battling us. Well, you know what? Before you know it, the fucking anti-Claus, Santa Claus, has come for you. And it's the Democrats, the quote unquote anti-gun people that have lasted longer than you. It's such a subtle message, I think,
It is, yeah.
I mean, who would have thought that the Ben Wyatt of Parks and Rec should last longer than pro-America does? You know what I mean?
He's really good in this movie.
Yeah. And I think that's something to, and I'm not quite sure if it's because I'm fairly inebriated. Everything, the room is turning right now. But
Same.
Ben Wyatt is the hero of this movie. He loves his son. There's a lot of love going on between father and son. And the fact that out of all the parents in this movie, they're the longest to last. It's the parents' love of their children that keeps them alive the longest.
Yes.
Yeah.
I agree.
So take what you will of that message. We're not trying to be political. And maybe if I am, it's unintentional. Because all my thoughts are definitely like jumping up and down right now.
Yeah.
So, but I think it's pretty, it's obvious. We love Adam Scott. He's such a...
We do, yes.
Yeah, he's such an adorable little nerd. Isn't he cute? He's so cute.
I find him very attractive.
He's like not my spirit animal, but he comes a close second.
All right. I mean, I feel like we're inebriated enough.
Yeah.
And pretty
Okay,
much said as much as we can about most
no,
of the movie.
we haven't. We haven't. We have yet to talk about our. Okay, we have two more things to talk about.
Okay.
I definitely probably feel the same way you do. The room isn't even. That doesn't even exist right now.
Okay.
It's just you and me, and we need to talk about two things before we close out this commentary.
Alrighty.
The first being, before we get to the big kahuna, the first being Krampus.
Okay. And did you know beforehand or since watching the movie that you actually never see Krampus's real face? That he's wearing a mask?
Oh shit, he's wearing a mask?
Yes. So in Krampus you actually never see Krampus's real face. You only see his real eyes. But the kind of thing, the face that you're seeing, like the weird slack jawed whatever, is a mask. Is someone's that's actually a human, or Michael Dougherty won't confirm whose face it is, but it's just Krampus wearing real human skin, a mask. He's literally wearing someone's face, so it's a mask made out of skin that's someone's face that he peeled off at some point. So we never actually see Krampus's real face. We only see his eyes and his tongue.
Dude. Oh my god, that changes everything, man.
Isn't that crazy? It was crazy when I first read it too. Yeah, so officially we have never actually seen Krampus's real face.
Because my only gripe with the Krampus design is that he never shut his fucking mouth.
Yes, and that's because it's just a slack jaw skin mask. It's someone's face that he's wearing.
Wow.
And Michael Dougherty will not confirm whose face he's wearing.
Well,
because a lot of people say it's Santa's face that he skinned and is wearing, but Michael Dougherty will say that he won't confirm whether or not that's who it is.
Wow, that changes everything. Because honestly, the one gripe that I had with this Krampus design, and especially rewatching it now, was that, his face isn't as articulate.
Yes, I had that gripe too, and then I read that, and it was like, there's also an art book for
Did
Krampus.
you buy it?
I haven't yet, but I do want to, because I have seen some pieces of artwork, and it is really cool. But
interesting.
Yeah, so we've actually never seen Michael Dougherty's version of Krampus, his actual face. They put he's wearing a skin mask of someone else's face.
Interesting. So, okay, so then the second thing I should bring about is everyone else but Krampus. Let's start first, of course, with the elves.
Okay. They were scary, but they're also a very small part of the movie, I think.
I felt everything was building up to the elves almost. Like we had, the snowmen, the little noises in the attic, and then
the toys.
Finally the elves.
Yeah.
Which, they look like they all play. They all look like they were played by Professor Flitwick actor.
Yes, exactly.
What's his name?
I don't remember.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like the gingerbread men and then the toys that end up attacking the family are way more exciting than the elves end up being.
Yeah, because, going back to what we originally said, the point when the toys made an appearance in the attic, that's literally when that couple walked out of the theater.
Real, yeah. That's when we were dying, laughing so hard.
That's a stress test. Like, how are you able to handle something as ridiculous as Killer Christmas?
Right.
You're either going to be like us, where you can accept it and laugh at it, or you're going to be like those two fuckers back 5 years ago and just be like, fuck this is stupid. In which point, you don't appreciate how special this movie is.
Yeah.
Yeah. But aside from that, then we have as you mentioned before, the gingerbread people and
Seth Green voiced one of the gingerbread men.
Really? Okay, I believe that.
Yeah, he voiced the one that had the most lines. I think the one that was like had his arm cut off or leg or cut off or something like that.
The one that gets lowered down and handles the little kid from Bad Santa. That isn't the kid from Bad Santa.
No, it might be that. I don't know. Maybe that's Seth Green.
It's definitely not. Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably.
Well, I mean, it is Seth Green as this gingerbread, but it's not the kid from Bad Santa as the kid in this movie. Yeah.
No, it is not.
Yeah. But I think what really makes this kind of unique is the fact that Michael Dougherty was able to hire and get some pretty phenomenal results from legendary company Weta, just Weta, not digital, because they were able to get a lot of practical effects from the married couple of Richard Taylor and Tanya Rogers. So all of the puppet effects, the elves costumes, the digital effects, or maybe not even digital effects, but the Christmas angel, which is really not an angel because it's demonic. The teddy bear, I think the highlight of all of those effects is, of course, the not jack-o'-lantern, Jack in the Box. Yeah, the Jack in the Box monster. All done by legendary creature effects artists from Weta, whatever. Because, yeah, they put in the same effort they did from Lord of the Rings. Because Weta Digital and Weta whatever effects is done by the people who did the Lord of the Rings, Chronicles of Narnia, all of that. So the same effort went into the creation of these characters, and they are phenomenal. The fact that they
really
went
good, yes.
Yeah, the fact that they went practical with all of it is what makes this separate from all the creature features we've seen.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
Yeah, modern day Thing effects in the 2010s is a big plus to movies made in this era.
I agree.
Yeah. Because I don't know, aside from like maybe Krampus leaping from ceiling, like roof to roof, these creature effects
are mostly practical. It looks
mostly practical. So you got to give the film that credit for being practical all the way through.
Yeah, I agree.
And the fact that you say that the Krampus in this movie is wearing a mask probably negates my negative notes in regards to this Krampus thing. Because my only gripe with this Krampus is that, again, he didn't close his mouth.
Yeah, and that's because it's a slack-jawed human skin face that he's wearing.
And that makes it all the more better.
Yeah, and you can look up, there are... I looked up, at least, behind the scenes of Krampus and the design of Krampus, and there are pictures of behind the scenes of the full mask that Krampus is wearing, so that you know what is the mask and what's actually Krampus. So we really only see his eyes and his tongue, but everything else is concealed because of the mask. So yeah, look it up. Like, they have the full mask in Google Images, and you can see like it. I don't know. It is a slack jaw. Just it looks like a Santa face basically, but the jaw is just kind of like hanging open.
That is great. I didn't know that. But yet again, I would trust your opinion because you're the one to buy the the making of books more than I ever could. So
yeah, I definitely love those.
Yeah. And there's just one thing I want to reference before we get into final thoughts. And I want to hear what you think about the ending.
So I did read a couple things about the ending, and it does. I mean, so I'll just say the director Michael Dougherty has said that the family is okay, and that their family's not like it looks like the family might be stuck in kind of purgatory.
Christmas purgatory,
where you see them in the snow globe in Krampus's lair. So there's two theories that are kind of big right now. One is they are now trapped in purgatory in the snow globe. Krampus has them, or Krampus, gave him a second chance, basically, based off of the main character's willingness to sacrifice himself, and they're only shown a snow globe because he's like watching over them, kind of like how Santa, he knows if you're good, he knows if you're bad. So the director has said that it's the first reading, which is they're not stuck in purgatory. They actually survived the night, and Krampus is just keeping an eye on them to make sure that Max keeps to his word, as of like appreciating his family and things like that. But he does say that it's interesting that you can also read it as the family is now stuck in a snow globe purgatory, and Krampus has collected yet another batch of souls. So really, it's up to you. Personally, I like to think that they lived, and that he has a snow globe of them just to keep an eye on them and make sure that Max follows through with his word of appreciating Christmas, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I personally think the opposite.
You think that they're stuck in purgatory?
They are stuck in purgatory, cursed to forever relive Christmas morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like to think it's the other one. I like to think that they kind of learned their lesson and now they're just being monitored, I guess. But yeah, Brian thinks that they're stuck in purgatory forever and it's not a happy ending.
It's the only ending to take because, we pull out from that one globe and we see many other snow globes of people stuck there.
You see the Psycho House is one of the houses in the snow globe, and then yes, and then you also see Michael Dougherty's actual house, his own residence.
Wow, I didn't know that.
As one of the snow globes. So they said
he
and there might be more than that. He said he put more different kind of iconic locations in those snow globes if you look closely.
Interesting.
So I haven't gone back to look for more, but I do know the Psycho House is one of the snow globes and his own personal house.
That's great. I like that.
Me too.
Yeah, I think that's what I personally took away from it because everyone, at least character-wise, goes from a Christmas smile to a, oh wait, oh shit, I remember everything. And then their smiles go from happy to instant regret. So
yeah,
that's what I'm taking from it.
And it's a definitely valid reading.
Which I'm also okay with yours. You're like, hey, they're living happily ever after Christmas morning. Who wouldn't like that? But
of course,
as we've all learned from morality stories, getting exactly what you want probably isn't exactly the best thing. So
exactly.
So Krampus, the unexpected thinker of 2015. Was it 2015?
Yeah.
Yeah, 2015. So, what are your final thoughts on Krampus?
My final thoughts on Krampus are it is a fantastic Christmas movie. Honestly, like, it is a horror movie, but for me at least, we also covered Black Christmas. It definitely falls in with the kind of darker side of Christmas time. It's kind of the anti a Christmas movie or whatever. What is it, Miracle on 31st Street? Mm-hmm. Definitely the anti movie of those things, which if you're someone like me, definitely appreciate. So I think this movie is great. I love it. It's definitely something I could watch every year during Christmas time. Yeah, I highly recommend it. I think it's a lot of fun. I think if you like Gremlins, you will love this movie. For me, it's the exact same tone that Gremlins has. It's a family movie, but then at the same time, it just skates that line of rated R. Of being too scary or too violent. It's just on that line of. I would be okay showing, a 12-year-old this movie, just like I would Gremlins.
Yeah, this was rated PG-13, right?
Yeah, it's PG-13, so...
Because there was one F-bomb by Conchata.
Yeah, by Conchata.
We're all fucked.
Which is fucking hilarious as well. Like, it's funny.
Yeah.
I would show a younger audience this movie. It's kind of like a gateway movie for people who love horror. If you want to introduce horror movies to your children or whatever, this is definitely a good gateway, kind of in between.
Yeah, because I remember like 5 years ago, my little nephew being like, "Oh, Krampus is gonna get you." I'm like, You know about Krampus? Jesus.
Exactly.
Yeah. So yeah.
But
Krampus.
It's fun also. It's funny and it's also heartwarming. And I feel like the message behind the movie is something kids should see. I don't know. It's like, at the end of the day, no matter how horrible your family is, they're your family, and acceptance and things like that.
Yeah.
And growing up, at some point, everyone has to grow up, and that's kind of what the main character of this movie is experiencing.
Mm-hmm. Which is played by someone named MJ something.
Anthony.
Yeah, MJ Anthony, who is currently playing in the little show called, what was it? Something Council of Dads.
He's a lot older now.
Yeah,
I did look him up today. Yeah.
Yeah, because I was curious, like, okay, what is this kid up to now? And I'm actually surprised that he is what he is now. I feel that he was quite the contender for that Honey Boy movie.
Yes, he does look like the poster of the kid with, I don't know, whatever's on his face, the cream or whatever. It does look like him.
Yeah,
he was good. I realized that he's kind of your entryway into the story, but he's not really the main character. It really turns out to be the family as a main character. And I love Toni Collette. I think she does an amazing job. Yes.
This was a nice little this was like a nice little introduction to her into horror. Not even introduction, because she's coming from the Sixth Sense. I feel she was trying to prove her worth for something as revolutionary as Hereditary.
Yeah, it was definitely her step between the Sixth Sense to Hereditary.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, she was amazing.
Yeah, and not that the movie was a horror movie, but Knives Out, I feel, was like a little mini stepstone between. Well, no, not even between, but like post.
It was post. It was after. Yeah. I mean, I feel like it was just her. I felt like her with Hereditary, and then with Knives Out, she was just kind of having fun with her more over the top type of acting. Being more of over the top of type of character than normally that she would play. Yeah.
Because for me, she's always been known as a dramatic actress and not so much a horror actress, which I both can go hand in hand, but it wasn't until Ari Aster's Hereditary where it actually went hand in hand, where the human drama and the horror aspect went hand in hand. So
I agree.
Yeah, but my final thoughts are the same. Ironic. I think it's funny because my first viewing, I think I was actually able to respect it a bit more, and I absolutely, even to this day, laughed my ass off at those two people who walked out of the theater. Because this wasn't clearly meant for them. They had to have the foreknowledge of movies like Gremlins to really appreciate this movie. So, and that's not to say I hated this movie, but upon viewing it for this podcast, I could actually understand why those people walked out of the movie. I mean, children's toys becoming demonic and vengeful and pain, and they become enemies, and the Christmas angel was probably a bit much. The teddy bear, the demonic teddy bear, was probably a bit much. But everything else, I can appreciate it. I can appreciate it for what it is, because I realize where the director, Michael Dougherty, is coming from. His love for Halloween was forced upon another holiday, Christmas. And there's only so much you could take from it. It was a pagan holiday. There was a lot of rituals, Krampus. There was, why do we put stockings up? Why do we have to keep the fireplace burning hot? Who was Saint Nicholas and not Santa Claus?
Yeah.
Our ideas of elves and presents are different because of this movie. So you have one person's twisted ideology about, twisted yet quote unquote politically correct ideologies about Halloween.
Right.
You apply that same belief to Christmas, you get a film like Krampus. So some people love and appreciate it, like people like you and I. But then you get Sally and Billy, who walked out of the Cine Capri opening night at 7 p.m. So do what you will with that information. I love Krampus. Some people don't. And you know what? That's okay. Because that doesn't detract from how fun the movie Krampus really is. Yeah. Because if there was a term to describe Krampus, it is definitely tongue in cheek.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah. I mean, hell, the opening scene could be pretty much compared to how Matt Stone and Trey Parker portrayed Black Christmas in their Game of Thrones parodies in South Park.
Right.
With everyone rushing in to Black Christmas, punching each other, people being electrocuted, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's definitely not a parody. What's that word?
Satire.
Yeah, satire. It's a satire of the holidays.
I agree. It is.
Yeah. So, gosh, what do we give the rating out of 5 on this, Toby?
How many gingerbread men?
Okay, perfect. So I ask you, Toby, out of 5 gingerbread men out of 5, how many gingerbread men do you give Krampus?
I'm going to give Krampus 5 out of 5 gingerbread men.
Oh, nice.
I had so much fun watching this movie and showing it to Brian, and it just fit perfectly with the time right now. It's nice to be in the holidays. It's nice to have that holiday cheer, but also 2020 has been fucking insane and lots of negativity and kind of downer of things going on in the world. So this movie was just so perfect in how much fun it was, and it definitely reminds you about, it's not just a regular horror movie. Like, it's one of those movies that comes with a message and comes with things that it wants to talk about. And I miss my family. It definitely like highlights certain issues you have when you have a bunch of family coming over, especially extended family and all of that stress that comes with it. But I don't know, I think Krampus right now is the perfect holiday movie because it shows you how terrible holidays can be and how negative things can be in the life at the moment, and because of everything going on in 2020. But it also kind of shows you how great it is when family can come together and try and defeat adversity. I'll point out the scene of Toni Collette, Adam Scott, and then the sister character all in the attic where they're trying to fight the demon angel and the teddy bear and the robot. Like, despite everyone's differences and how annoying your family can be, my family included, like, I definitely get it, but like how they all came together in that specific scene was just great because it reminds me of my sisters. And I don't know, we're all adults now and things are different, but I definitely miss my sisters and things like that. So when I watched this movie with Brian, it definitely just reminded me of being with my family and how hard things are, but how awesome things can be with people you love. So despite it being a horror movie and kind of a downer ending it might have, depending on your interpretation, I still think it's a really cool, fun movie to watch with your family during the holidays. So I love it. 5 out of 5. Was that too much? Was that ridiculous?
No, because I had the complete opposite.
Really? Oh my god. Okay.
No. Don't get me wrong. I love Krampus. In fact, I think I loved it as much as you did the first time I watched it. But upon rewatching it, I don't know I don't know what it is. It could be the lack of cheer this year, but I give Krampus 3.5 gingerbread
Wow.
man out
You
of
gave
5.
Black Christmas more
Yes.
than this movie?
You see, I don't know what it is. I think it's personal experience versus personal experience.
Mm-hmm.
But it's funny because now I can understand why people would walk out of this movie 5 years later.
Mm.
You know?
Okay.
I think that as a horror movie, for me personally, the downer ending is what really detracts from this movie. Any other year, yes, holidays suck. It can suck the life out of all the right people who should receive Christmas cheer.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? In the end, when you realize, perhaps paired with a shitty year, with a pandemic, with so much shitty shit happening, Christmas cheer is a lie. The joy of Christmas is a lie. How could you feel so much joy after 12 months of such utter bullshit? And I understand now how would you say, the Debbie Downers.
Yeah.
For once, I understand the Debbie Downers. If this were any other year, Toby, I'd be like, yes, 5 out of 5, yes. But this year, I
get it. Yeah. The
see
faults and the negatives.
I see the downside of Christmas. And perhaps that's just more of a fault on the world. The downside of the world.
Mm-hmm.
But for a movie that depends so entirely upon the positivity of Christmas, I don't feel it. So therefore, my rating of 3.5 out of 5 gingerbreads stands.
Okay, I get it. I definitely understand. And we've all kind of had a different experience being, going through this pandemic and everything that we're going through, just to be upfront with it.
Yeah.
I definitely understand that. Our different readings of it. It is really funny. I feel like normally, I would have been the more negative one,
Mm-hmm.
which I think is so funny about this specific review. And what I love about us reviewing movies is that we don't have the same point of view on every movie that we review, which is good because that can be boring. So I do like that we differentiate on our kind of point of view of this particular movie. I saw like the kind of hopefulness and I don't know, the spirit of trying to overcome
adversity
and negativity, especially with Max. I mean, I feel like the part where Max is like, "I'm so sorry, please take me instead," is kind of cheesy. And I think it would have been crazy if maybe it ended with him when he gets tossed into the pit of flames or whatever, that it ended there. That would have been pretty crazy, but I also see the good part of it, which is, sometimes the, good can win. Sometimes, I don't know. It's funny. There's something I've thought about lately a lot, especially when watching certain movies, and this is going to sound so corny, but I rewatched a couple of the Scream movies because I'm so excited for Scream 5. And in Scream 4, there is a moment where Dewey and Sydney are having a conversation, and Dewey says sometimes, basically, sometimes things are bad, and most people assume the bad is going to happen, but sometimes things aren't bad. Like sometimes things actually turn out well. So that's been in my mind a lot lately with all the negativity going on. So, you know, with Krampus, sometimes you can overcome the horror that's attacking you and, you know, have a second chance. So I think that's where my rating comes from.
And it's crazy how personal our ratings come from.
I think it's
stem from.
Sometimes things don't get worse. Sometimes they get better, which I think right now a lot of us aren't used to. We're all kind of used to things just being so negative at the moment. So that's kind of where I'm trying to get, where I'm putting my rating at.
And how true should these feelings be at our most inebriated states? Because I'll tell you.
Of course. And then there's that.
Yeah, I am definitely drunk as all hell.
I don't even know how I'm still talking, to be honest.
Yeah, the fact, I mean, yeah, for those watching the video,
take Toby, everything I've said completely for granted. So.
Yeah, Toby has been throughout this episode, whether he's known or not, been showing off the guns.
Have I?
Yes, you've been pulling up your sleeve the whole
because
episode.
I'm itching. That's why I don't know. There we go, you guys. So you know.
There's our thumbnail right there.
Oh, good.
There you go. Pull up both sleeves and show us the guns.
Trying to give us some flesh. Is that what you're trying to do?
She's been working out. But, you know, the way I'm feeling now is probably the culmination of 2020. There is much to look forward to in 2021. Because
and I'm really, really excited.
I don't know if you've heard, but the tyrant, or quote unquote, the wannabe tyrant, has been losing almost every single day.
Every case except for one. And the one case that the tyrant lost was whether or not how close someone could be watching people who count the votes.
Yeah.
And that was the only case that they won, was they could stand closer.
Yeah, and the one case I think that they had, there's a loss of votes, was a case where they found 9 extra votes.
Mm-hmm. That ended up being Biden's.
Yep. And of course, I'm reminded of the episode South Park because I'm, again, rewatching South Park. Now your vote doesn't count.
Yes.
So, but you know what? This has been a very fun episode.
It has. And we've been planning it for a bit.
Yeah. So, this is officially the end of season 1. Season 1 of The Final Gaze. We began this season utilizing the the criteria of another podcast, going beat by beat. Yeah. And slowly we evolved, we've adapted, we've made this podcast our own, and I think we have our own kind of beat to follow. So again, just like at the beginning, we want to thank you for listening to us for a whole solid 13 months, not even a year, 13 months.
Yeah, that's a long time.
Oh yeah. And season 1 has ended. Season 2 begins 2021.
What's the first day? Do you know?
Well, actually, because of this episode, because we sort of went on a drunken tirade about our nerdiness and love for Star Wars, our very first episode will be our conversation about The Mandalorian.
So fun.
However, our very first episode of The Final Gaze, Season 2, will be debuting a new logo created by yours truly, Toby Castro.
I'm so excited for you guys to see it. I hope you like it.
And who knows, maybe we'll debut a new intro, because as much as we love Connoisseur 2's actor's intro, we'll probably create a new intro. Who knows?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Times change.
And so will we.
And so will we. I am so excited for season 2. I've seen the lineup of our reviews, and they are really, really good.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm excited to get into it. I'm excited that we get a season 2 and that we're continuing on, and I feel
officially renewed for season 2.
Officially renewed, and I feel like everything that we've learned throughout season 1, both negative and positive, are going to really help us with season 2. So
yes,
I'm excited, and I'm happy to share all of these with you, Harrison.
Oh, me too. Who would ever have thought somewhere out in the world there'd be someone who knows especially loves the score for Scream as much as I do.
Oh my god. And I am a little upset that Marco Beltrami is not returning for Scream 5.
Oh!
I am, but you know what? From the things I've heard from the directors, who are also the writers, I kind of get why. So I will hold my judgment. I have to withhold my judgment until we see Scream.
You know
but I'm following Scream and the production and every little bit of teeny bits of news that come out very closely.
You know what? I'm going to say it right here and right now. You've heard it here, folks. Nicholas Britell will be let go from the Scream franchise. And at the last minute, whether Marco Beltrami or any other composer will be brought in to replace him.
You know, I have so many thoughts on Scream 5. I could do a whole episode just talking about my theories and the news and pictures I've seen from the set. So
we did a half episode randomly on The Mandalorian. So yeah, who knows what the hell could happen.
Exactly. I could definitely do one on Scream 5 news, but it is kind of weird that Marco's not returning, and I guess
very weird.
I guess we'll see.
Out of all the composers they could choose, Nicholas Britell.
Yeah. I mean, maybe he's close friends with the director. I don't know. Did he do the soundtrack for Ready or Not?
Nope. That was Brian Tyler.
See, that's weird then. I would think
that's so weird.
I think they would maybe use composer they're familiar with, but who knows?
I would have much preferred Brian Tyler to do the score for Scream 5 as opposed to Nicholas Britell. Come on.
But who knows? Maybe Nicholas Britell is an insane Scream fan and super loyal and will know exactly what kind of score to... I mean, if I was chosen to score Scream 5 as a super huge fan, I feel like, you know, as a fan, you would know what the other fans would want to hear. So I'm trying to keep a positive.
Yeah. Me too.
The original 3, the trio, all are praising everything about the production. So, I mean, of course, that could be just publicity, but...
But, you know, there's a lot of things that have to make sense about their decisions. Mm-hmm. For instance, a great example is Dr. Sleep. Mm-hmm. You have a terrific director. And you have a terrific choice for the composer. You have Wendy Carlos, who did the original music. At least the actual theme for the original Shining. Okay. Then you get someone like the Newton Brothers, who has done music for other horror movies.
Yeah.
Okay. The Shining. Okay, great. Choose the Newton Brothers. Nicholas Britell. I get it. He's the unconventional choice, but like,
maybe he'll blow us out of the water. I'm just trying to hope that as a huge fan of Scream that they pick someone wisely, you know. So I don't know. It sucks that we have a full year, over a year.
Yeah, we'll have to see
before we can see it. So I will be seeing Scream 5 in theaters no matter what. I will say that here and now.
Yeah, a lot is riding on you, Mr. Britell, if you're listening. So just know, you have a lot on your shoulders, and you have a
A lot to answer to, and you'll be answering to me.
A big pair of shoes to fill. But that is for a future episode where we'll be covering Scream 1, Scream 2, Scream 3, Scream 4, and finally Scream 5.
In Season 2.
Season 2. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you, too. This was a lot of fun. And I'm really excited for Season 2.
Yes, Season 2, first episode, Get Out.
Which is a good one. I don't know if Brian's seen it, so that'll be next on our watch list, I think.
Yeah. Oh, what an absolute blast. Thank you. I cannot thank you enough. And I simply cannot wait to watch another movie with you, because honestly, the last movie we watched together, you know what that was? Rise of fucking Skywalker.
Oh shit, you're right. That is the last. Oh, and I tried to drive your truck for like 2 seconds. I was too scared.
Oh wait,
I think it was Rise of Skywalker.
It wasn't The Grudge, was it? No, I watched that alone. Yeah,
you watched it alone. We did see Rise of Skywalker together at the IMAX at
Arizona Mills. Wow.
Because I still have the poster. I still have that poster that I got.
Yeah. Oh man. Well, this has been a very special time, and we survived. Out of the ashes of Talk Some Horror, we survived. So thank you very much. I never thought I'd meet someone as awesome as you, and someone as passionate in everything that I love too. So thank you.
You too. I thank you too for being pretty. I mean, you're my closest friend, to be honest. Like, yeah. I don't talk to anyone else. It's Brian, and then the friends I talk to is you. So thank you for being there.
Yeah, the one thing I need to get better in is Star Trek. So
you do need to watch Star Trek, because we're almost done with DS9 and we're restarting Star Trek Voyager. So you need to get on it so we can talk about it.
So,
well,
2020 has been a rough year, but you have been the incredible positive through the negative. So, and I want everyone.
The second that vaccine hits, I'm going to call my doctor and be like, second I can get that, movie night.
Yes.
Recording. I'm so excited about the short film.
Yeah, I want everyone to know the deep respect I have for Toby Castro, Tobias Castro, Conrad Tobias Castro.
Thank you. I have so much respect for you too, and excitement, especially with the project that we're working on now. Like, I cannot wait I just want to be in person, right? I would just want to be in person and hammer out the dialogue and the script and all our ideas and things. I feel like being able to do that in person will really, I don't know. You know what I mean?
Oh, I know exactly what you mean. So,
all right. Well,
so be prepared, listeners. The Final Gaze Season 2 coming soon to a
podcast near
whatever. You. Yeah, a podcast host near you. Thank you very much for listening. Oh, but all right. Let's close out this episode.
Okay. I need another drink.
Yes. Thank you for listening to us. This is going to be our final outro for 2020, that shitty fucking year.
Piece of shit.
So you can listen to us you can find us on all the social medias. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. We're on Twitter. We're trying to be on Twitter a bit more. I have all access to those channels. So
I saw that.
Yeah, and follow us on all of those, please, if you like what you hear. You can also find us. You can also listen to us on Podbean, Spotify, and Apple Podcast. Again, as always, we are trying to expand to other channels like Amazon. Surprisingly, not Napster. What's that other thing? Maybe it is Napster. I don't know.
Napster. I don't think Napster's a thing anymore.
I don't think it is anymore, but it's definitely something from the old days. But Amazon and whatever the other place is, we're trying to get onto. We're still waiting for Podbean to get back to us. I think it's... I'll have to get back to you on that. But regardless, you can
We're
find
drunk.
us on... Yeah, you can find us on those 3 things. Spotify, Apple Podcast, and Podbean.
All of the things, yes.
And specifically this episode, you can find us on YouTube. You can see our drunken expressions through this whole fucking thing.
Yes, I recommend that viewing if you can.
Yeah, Toby has quite the epic dinosaur background. I don't even know, the Lost World, Jurassic Park. Yeah, man, be careful, man.
You want to see something super cool?
Okay, looks like you're grabbing for that dude.
So I actually, as a gift for Hanukkah, I got an actual raptor tooth.
What the hell?
So I don't know if you can see this, but this is a legit...
What? Really?
Yep, it's a legit dromaeosaur tooth, which is a raptor.
Dude, that totally trumps my gift to you.
No, it doesn't. I don't know.
Yes, it does.
It is a cool gift, but I feel like any gift.
Did Brian give that to you?
No.
Oh.
He didn't.
Okay. Well, okay. So.
We'll see.
Between you and I, there is a gift hidden from you in your very apartment.
In my own home?
Oh, yeah. In fact, it was sent to you from someone very afar.
Well, this is the first I'm hearing of it.
I know, because I'm drunk and I'm telling you about it. And
now I'm gonna. You shouldn't, because now I'm gonna look for it. Now I gotta look.
Toby, there is a gift for you somewhere in that apartment of yours, and
Brian's a sneaky bastard. He probably
Brian
did it real
is
well.
a sneaky. In fact, him and I have been conspiring against you in the best way possible. Oh God, I think you're gonna like it, but after I saw that tooth, it's probably not gonna compete. But
no,
I think you're gonna like it regardless.
I'm sure I will.
Try not to pressure Brian in just showing you where it is. Please.
I'm almost there. What's today? The 20.
Today's
20th.
Is it the 20th? Yeah. Today's the 20th. You got 5
days. 5 more days. I gotta make it.
Brian, hide it from him even better. Oh my God.
It.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
You're gonna like it because it involves.
Don't even say it.
Okay, I won't.
Don't say it.
Dinosaurs.
I'm so excited now. I love that. No matter what, I love dinosaurs. I'm so excited.
You'll find out on Christmas Day because alas, I am not Jewish. So.
True. Neither am I.
Yeah.
But
okay, well, you know what? Yeah, okay. Thanks for listening to us.
Thanks for listening to us drunkenly rant throughout this entire...
Okay. I want you to do this outro. I want to see what happens when you're drunk.
Thank you for listening to us. As always, I'm Toby.
And my name is Harrison.
And we are the final... Gaze.
That's the end of season 1.
Let me lick it, Harrison. I want to lick season 1.
Very sticky.
Just let me lick it. I want to lick it.
Let me lick your piggy cunt, season 1. Thanks for listening, everybody. We love you very much.
Woo! Gives me chills.
Oh, that was ridiculous.
That was fun.